rules!
$1,500, $2,000. $1 million once. $14,000 it is. $1 million twice. $44,500. Gone. 47 and a half. Fair warning, it is selling at $1 million. So, $1 million.
Our April sale will include a most historic firearm treasure. This is Lot 1129, the Colt Single Action Army serial number 5773. It is a truly unique firearm. It has the distinction of being the only complete and original Colt sidearm known to exist that can positively be proven to have been at the historic Battle of the Little Bighorn. In the history of the West, the most historic and tragic military engagement with Indians took place on the Little Bighorn River, June 25, 1876, when General George Armstrong Custer, together with his entire immediate command, was totally annihilated by an overwhelming force of Sioux, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors. In the summer of 1876, Sitting Bull, together with a number of his followers, had left the reservation to return to their hunting grounds, and a large command of U.S. cavalry were sent out to find, capture, and return Sitting Bull to his reservation. A massive cavalry force headed by various commanders was sent into the field to find and return Sitting Bull. Custer was absolutely determined that he and his command would be the ones to find the famous and notorious chief and bring him back to the reservation. A phenomenal success like this in the field would have a great positive impact for Custer, who just a short while before had been subjected to a court-martial. On the morning of the 25th of June, Custer's scouts reported a large encampment of Indians on the bend of the Little Bighorn River. Because of the trees in the distance, they could not determine how large the village was, but Custer had assumed it was only Sitting Bull and his followers. Upon attacking the far end of the village, he was immediately repulsed by an immense contingent of Indian warriors on horseback. It is generally assumed that unlike the few hundred Indian warriors that Custer expected to confront, there were more like 2,000 mounted warriors. Every single member of Custer's command was annihilated. Within a couple of days after the massacre, Captain Benteen, together with a command of men, rode to the Custer battlefield to bury their brothers in arms. What they witnessed was a grisly sight. Whether it was a trooper's uniform, his boots, belt buckle, hats, literally everything was removed to be used by the Indians. Thus, when Benteen and his troops arrived, the battlefield was strewn with naked, mutilated bodies of their fellow troopers. The burial detail buried Custer's entire command and gathered what few items were left on the battlefield that Indians had not discovered. Later, in December of 1876, a board of survey convened at Fort Rice in Dakota Territory. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss and receive, then turn over to the Ordnance Department 3 Colt single-action revolvers and 12 Springfield carbines that were rendered unserviceable at the Battle of the Little Bighorn, Montana, in June 25, 26, 1876. That is specifically in Benteen's written words. These firearms were rendered unserviceable at the Battle of the Little Bighorn, Montana Territory in June 25 and 26, 1876. The record of the U.S. Ordnance Department positively and conclusively documents these facts. At the meeting, Captain Benteen returned Colt single action serial number 5773. This very gun, over the years, it passed through a few collectors' hands and eventually was acquired by our consignor in the early 1990s. This extraordinary historic gun is unique in its existence and its positive identification, it makes this a wonderful historic treasure. We consider it a treasure worthy of the finest and most advanced collection. In addition to being illustrated and discussed at length in the Kopek book, this very gun has been the subject of various articles over the years. It will be sold in our April 11th extraordinary session and carries a reasonable presale estimate of $175,000 to $275,000.